So we haven't like talked about Candace Owens in a little while. There hasn't been much to talk about. Last time I think we spoke about Candace Owens was when we made that video about our good friend Larry Elder. We made that video about Larry Elder, and that's when him and Candace Owens were actually talking about how black people don't deserve reparations, but like slave owners did because they had their property taken from them. And we all know how much we love property rights in this country, right? Definitely. Who was that property again? Hey, let's not talk about it. So really just absolutely curious memes coming from people like Candace Owens and the Larry Elder types of the world, right? But I want to talk about her again because we're going to be doing a small little tease, little squeeze, little wellness check on our good friend Candace Owens, because apparently she's not doing too well. Apparently she thinks we need to invade Australia to free the people from tyranny. You ever think about how much you're so sad, you're so frightened for the people of Australia that you're like, we need a military intervention to save the people, okay? Listen, we just need to pull Afghanistan 2 electric boogaloo on Australia and free the people from tyranny, overthrow their government, and install an anti-vaccine government in its place. Sure, buddy. Wild memes. A conservative US commentator has suggested America should invade to liberate Australians from tyrannical COVID-19 restrictions, likening the country to the early stages of dictatorship under Hitler or Stalin. So I'm sorry. I'm not sure if I have any Australians in chat right now. I may not, because they're busy being oppressed by their government. That is basically like Nazi Germany for wanting them to be safe. But, hugs and kisses, many, thoughts and prayers goes out to everyone in Australia. RIP in peace. You guys are goddamn dead. Yeah, RIP Australians, saying that her husband has family members in Australia, one of whom recently shared that the mental state of everyone around her was in steep decline. Just so you know, conservatives think the mental state of people being in steep decline means that they want to wear masks, even though they're like fully vaccinated. Lots of places in Australia are they have concerts. They're going, like, a lot of things have opened back up again, and not in the way that we've opened back up again when we're experiencing a 9/11 worth of deaths of COVID like every single day, but we kind of pretend like it's not happening. But in Australia, a lot of them are kind of chilling. Didn't Australia lose to emus? Probably. Imagine losing to a bird. Yeah, but it's like a really big bird though. They are like unironically velociraptors if you think about it. Wait a second. I want to see this. Okay. How long is this video? 7 minutes? We can do it. I want to see. Holy crap. She's dressed up like a fucking elite from goddamn Hunger Games. Look at this shit. She looks like she's about to send me and my family off to die in her own personal war. The drip. I want to see what she has to say. Should we liberate Australia?
Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN.
All right, guys. Looks like I'm not buying anything from ExpressVPN. Super hot.
My husband has a lot of family members who live in Australia. They're all wonderful people. Despite the fact that we do not always agree on politics, they're kind of, the old school type. They don't really let politics get in the way of their meaningful relationships.
What is that supposed to mean? Politics get in the way of their meaningful relationships? I'm genuinely curious, what's that supposed to mean? Is she talking about oh yeah, so there's I think gay people shouldn't exist and should be put in camps to be reverted back to the glorious straight people that they should be. And the other person's gay and they're best friends, even though the other one talks about how much they disapprove of how cringe and gay they are. They're still friends. Isn't that the world that we want? If that's what you're looking for, bro. If that's the type of shit that you want to be around, bro, don't let me stop you. I'm not going to tell you who you can and can't be friends with. I'm just saying that it really makes sense that a lot of people won't want to be friends with people like that. You know what I mean?
Well, recently he received a message from one of these family members, and she was expressing how the mental state of everyone around her is in steep decline. She shared with him a message that she had received from a friend of hers, a woman who lives in Queensland, and the message is genuinely shocking.
I'm really wondering. I'm scared for what this message could be, how shocking it could possibly be, how afraid Australians could be at the moment. Black people are our inferior boyfriend, African Australian girlfriend, a relationship should be 50-50.
I was shocked reading this message, and I decided that for this episode, I'm just going to read it to you verbatim. So just to get you guys ready, it's a list of the COVID rules that Australian citizens are being made to follow. And as I read this, I actually want you to close your eyes and to imagine that this was your life, and to imagine what your mental state would be like if you were being made to abide by these rules.
Imagine
ready?
all the Australians.
First and foremost, there are a limited number of people allowed in your household, and at various
Forced to not have 70 people in their living room. You know, how sad. I'm literally crying right now. Wait, here, let me see.
times, foremost, there are a limited number of people allowed in your household. And at various times, she writes, we are told we are allowed no visitors. Funerals have to be kept between 5 and 10 people. Must scan a QR code to go everywhere, literally everywhere, including toilets.
Yeah, I mean, if you're walking into like a public restroom, that's an enclosed space. I know people are going to be hotboxing their own like ass gas in there, but you don't want to bring COVID in there too. Like if there's like a public restroom, you can give people COVID pretty easily. All right. Especially if you're in the boys restroom, you got the heckin' urinals. You know what I mean? I know they're in there doing that, but you don't have to bring COVID into the mix too. That's going to be like a fucking deadly concoction. I don't know what's going to spawn from that. And I don't really want to find out personally.
Are curfews, and there are helicopters patrolling the skies to ensure that everyone is abiding by the curfews. You are not allowed to go past 5 kilometers from your home. Just to put that in perspective, that's about 3 miles. A little over 3 miles from your home, you're not allowed to travel past. You're not allowed to sit down at parks, beaches, and public spaces. You're not allowed to drink or eat while standing up anywhere. You must sit down to drink or eat everywhere.
Oh my gosh, I can't even stand to eat my ice cream. I get ice cream 2.5 miles from my home as the Australian police are slowly following me in their cartoonishly small COVID cars. And I step and I take one lick of my ice cream cone and instantly bonk over the side of my head. They hit me with the billy club and they slap the ice cream out of my hand as I'm reeling in pain after suffering a massive concussion that they gave me. And then they pick me up by the scruff of my neck like a baby kitten and throw me into the back of their comically small police car, the back of which is hermetically sealed, to which there is no air that can get in nor out. And I have to sit in there while it slowly steams up, and I can no longer see out of it, and I'm scared and I'm worried. And just as the CO2 levels will get to deadly amounts in the back of the car, the door opens, psh, psh, and they kick me out, and I end up right in front of my doorstep again. No ice cream, with a massive headache, almost passed out. This is life in Australia. R.I.P. in peace. Help me. Also, my cousin's friend's boyfriend's testicle swolled up to like 3 times its size. He's like basically the Grinch, but with his fucking nutsack, man. It's shit's crazy out here. Please save us, Candace Owens. Invade us, please.
No dancing anywhere.
Oh my gosh, is the Australian government the goddamn Fire Nation? They banned dancing. The Australian government has banned dancing. Oh no, man. Oh, who could have seen this coming? No flossing, no flossing, no nothing. I can't even imagine. This is so sad.
Only 1 person per household is allowed to go shopping for essentials. Only essential shopping is allowed. And at times, ready? The defense force and police have checked what people are shopping for. Imagine that. What are you buying today? That's happening.
Man, that would be so sad. I would be really upset if I was like, at my local, big box store and I was buying 17 packs of Magnum condoms and like 3 gallons of Astroglide lube. And I had to explain to the local police officer who's checking my bag why this is an essential good. You know what I mean? I'm just really... I can't even imagine living as the Australians do. I'd be so scared. I know there are places that have done like, only essential shopping and they want to cut down on people just like being out for like literally no reason. 3 gallons, baby numbers. Listen, I'm a streamer. I don't spend too much time outside. All right. These are like most of the weird rules we had in Canada. Yeah, like there are a bunch of weird rules and like people are trying to do their best. Governments are trying to do their best. And sometimes they can go a little too far. And And, that can be a problem sometimes, but it's all it's all trying to keep people safe. And a lot of these places, for one, they didn't last that long. And for these really hard lockdowns, a lot of people, for one, a lot of the time, these types of rules didn't last that long. And also they were pretty, they weren't generally across the entire country. It was in some spots. And typically those spots are really big hot spots where you need to crack down or else people die. Once again, we have 700,000 people dead in this country. We have a massive amount of people dead in this country. We have a higher death rate with COVID than other people. And so listen, here in America, we decided that being able to go shop for God knows what at your local at your local Walmart is worth more than 700,000 lives, and that's fine. I'm just saying that with that utilitarian calculus, other countries have decided to go the other way. And I can't really fault them, because to say that here in America we're pogging out, but in Australia they're really something's really wrong. I would think a lot of people would rather not would spend a month or two not being able to go buy some fucking random shit in the Walmart electronics section and still have their grandma. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people would take that trade, but Candace Owens, she's willing to sacrifice your grandma so she can go shopping at Target.
Dog parks, playgrounds, bike parks, beaches are closed and barricaded. Mask wearing is required when outside, and even if you are alone. And at one point in Queensland, it was also required when in your car alone or mowing the front lawn. International borders are closed. No one is allowed to leave the country. Small businesses are shut down while big businesses are allowed to operate.
Holy crap, dude. I read a book like this before. This is like George Ornbachel's 1573. I've read this book. It's when the government does stuff. It's an incredibly hard indictment of communism. I've read this before. I know exactly. The media is coming to life. Media is coming to life right now. Holy shit, dude. This is incredible.
This next one to me it's insane. It's so crazy. Ready? Citizens are locked out of their home state. Thousands of them are not allowed to return unless they get a vaccine, only after they go through a slow and restrictive exemption request process. Okay, so imagine you live in Tennessee, all right? You happen to be in Connecticut, and they say, you know what? You're not allowed to travel from state to state. You can't go back to your home state of Tennessee unless you get a vaccine. It's actually unimaginable. Not being able to go home because you have to be vaccinated. Not only that, you have to apply once you get the vaccine to be able to go home. This is what is going on right now in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want you randomly traveling across the entire country. Yeah, for one, sucks to suck. They don't want you traveling across the entire country without your vaccine. So you can be a little plague rat. I know it's their kink to be ooh, who am I gonna cough on today? You're gonna take that home to your grandma. I know they get off to shit like that, but oh, and that's not even a meme. That's not even a meme. There have been documented reports of people going through Walmart lines and through not the self checkout, but with the cashier checkout, going to McDonald's and a lot of drive-through places, coughing, licking, spitting, putting their boogers on their money or their card or something, and trying to hand it to people to give them COVID. Or they're oh, when I pull up to the window and there's the 15-year-old wearing a mask, I make sure to cough in my hand and be sure he sees that I'm hacking loogies into my palms, and then hand him the dollar. It's so funny looking at how scared they are about getting a disease and dying. Haha. I know some conservatives really get off of being a plague rat bioweapon. Yeah, electric chair. Some people have said this. Okay, did I say that I was anti-death penalty? I may have to reevaluate my position. But no, I think cracking down on that a little bit in Australia is actually a good thing.
I genuinely do not know what to say to this, except this. For the last 20 years, the United States has spent trillions of dollars overseas in Afghanistan fighting a war, which we lost, by the way.
Candace, please.
We were told that the war was necessary anyway. It was necessary. The slaughtering of American sons and daughters on foreign soil, because we were fighting a noble cause to spread democracy in a tyrannical land, to free an oppressed people. So I'm going to ask those same lecturing politicians and media members a question now. When do we deploy troops to Australia?
Free me from this agonizing torment. Please. When are we gonna goddamn Vietnam Australia, okay? We need Australia to be nommed. We need it. She's so fucking dumb. I can't go to my Bass Pro Shop and pick up my 72 pounds of tackle. Yeehaw. Fucking get him. We need an armed uprising. Once again, this is the government that they voted in. Okay, and they can vote out this government. This isn't like a Nazi Germany type. You voted them in. Oh, my bad. Well, I guess they weren't necessarily voted in. But this isn't like you vote in this government and then they go hog wild. Okay, they've gone through elections. They're pogging. The people in Australia are kind of chilling. Let's read this. I want to see what this says. I haven't read this yet. She looks like she's about to make a funny voice. The way she speaks is just funny voice. Amid strained political, epidemiological, and community debate around Australians' 4-phase reopening strategy, the latest Guardian Essential survey of 1,000 respondents finds only 12% of the sample would be comfortable with any transition that would increase deaths or hospitalizations. Huh. Curious. While Senator coalition players such as Treasurer Josh Frydenberg have declared elimination of the Delta variant is impossible, saying Australians must learn to live with the virus. 44% of Guardian Essential respondents, including 37% of coalition voters in the sample, believe that the current strategy should be getting COVID-19 cases down to as close as zero as possible. Okay, so here's a really big thing. And I do this sometimes too, right? We're here in the US, we're in the big US of A. We think certain things here, okay? Once again, Candace Owens is perfectly fine sacrificing your grandma to make sure that she can go to Walmart. And that's just something normally. That's like a topic for debate. They're like, how many grandmas should we sacrifice so we can go to Walmart? That's just how we think about things here sometimes, okay? And so people in Australia, sometimes they think, what can we do to make sure as little people as possible die from this disease? And that's a new frame of reference. So Candace Owens cares about going to Walmart. Australians care about saving people's lives. You know, they're just built a little different. They just think like a little different, couple different things that they find personally important. So you can sit here and say that they're like living in an awful, terrible, horrible, oppressive government or something. But it seems like the vast majority of them don't want anything to do with how we're handling COVID, how Candace wants to handle COVID. It's almost like they're able to take care of themselves. And it's not even like the 50.01% of Australians believing this and then like doing it to the rest of the country. It seems like at the very least around 60%, maybe even 70% of them really enjoy this like policy that they're going on in the capacity of they want to reduce COVID deaths as much as possible. Walmart versus people's lives. You know, it's just, they think a little bit differently. I just want to see something. Asked to nominate the number of COVID-related deaths that would be acceptable for Australia to live once restrictions are eased, 61% of respondents say fewer than 100 deaths a year. 25% said between 100 and 1,000 a year, and 10% said between 1,000 and 3,000 per year. 2% said 3,000 and 5,000 per year. 3% said more than 5,000 a year. So just to get this, just to let you know, there was a time in this country where 3,000 people were dying a day of COVID, okay? And closing up on more than 2,000 a day. And so for Australians, 61% want fewer than 100. And just so you know, we're racking up 100 deaths in this country of COVID every couple of hours right now across the country. So, you know, they're just built a little differently. So this doesn't seem like they need to be liberated. And I really don't think they want anything to do, just like most people around the world, don't want anything to do with America's definition of liberation. You know what I mean? It got up to 4K a day, I believe. Wait, let me see. Oh my gosh. Okay, my bad. Sorry. There was a time in this, I actually undersold it. There was a time in this country, not only at 3,000, there was a time in this country where we had almost 4,000 deaths every single day. Every day. The peak was Was that 4,100? Come here. Get bigger. Come here. This is the peak right here. 4,169 deaths this day. And just to put it into comparison, it's right here. 2% of Australians want to live in the country that we have, okay? 2%. 2% of Australians said that they want to live in the country that we have, okay? Where 2,000 deaths a day is like normal. So don't sit here and tell me that they want or need to be liberated or their government's going crazy. It seems like they're in pretty good lockstep with what they want. I can't speak today. With what they want and what their government is doing. So yeah, I don't know. Seems pretty normal to me. And I don't know why you're making this goddamn face, but this shit seems incredible. Oh, my bad. Sorry. Oh, did I say it wrong when it comes to Australia? I'm sorry. There's a time when we had 4,000 a day and only 2% want 4,000, not in a day, but in a whole year. So, you know, built a little differently. It's no big deal, bro. It's just like the flu. Yeah, Australians have the care for old people gene, unlike Americans, I guess. We have the I want to go to my Walmart gene.
When do we invade Australia and free an oppressed people who are suffering under a totalitarian regime? When do we spend trillions of dollars to spread democracy in Australia? Australia currently, make no mistake, is a tyrannical police state. Its citizens are quite literally being imprisoned against their will. So when do we deploy?
Oh my geez. Oh my goodness. Are Australians, all right, I need you to hunker down in your homes even more. What the fuck? Please. Is she saying that there's a better reason to invade Australia than like any country in the Middle East? That Australians are more oppressed than like people living under the Taliban? Maybe the Australian government is worse than the Taliban because the Australian government doesn't want to kill trans people. So the Candace Owens, that's actually worse than the Taliban. Remember when like all the conservatives were coming out and they were like, whoa, look, dude, isn't that so sick? The freaking Taliban were like, critical race theory, cringe. They were like, women's rights, get them out of here. Gay people, be gone. And the conservatives were like, would you look at that? And even the Taliban knows that the way America's going is woke and bad. Like, bro, you're insane. Oh, also, if we win, that means we get to turn Australia into the 51st state. Let's fucking go, bro. Reunited, but at what cost?
Of course, I asked that in jest because we all know the real answer. What's happening in Australia under the guise of a virus, which, by the way, as of August 7, 2021, experts estimate the overall recovery rate is between 97% and 99.75%. What's actually happening under the guise of this virus is federal overreach, tyranny, totalitarianism.
97% is terrible. Like, I just don't know if these conservatives know what they're talking about or they just don't care. But like 3% of people like not recovering at all is not good. Also, those people who did recover, are they, just because they're able to not be hospitalized, does that mean that they're like perfectly fine? Is being hospitalized just okay? Because we're filling up our hospitals, we're filling up our ICUs. There are other people who can't get elective surgeries or surgeries that need to be done, or if they get into an accident, they can't go into an ICU for like trauma or like anything that happened to them on the road because they're filled with people having COVID who need to be taken care of. There are other externalities that happen here that need to be thought of, and not just, oh, they got better. And still, like 3% of people not recovering, dying is not good. That's not good. That's bad. I personally care about people. I do. I care about people. And once again, if this is infecting hundreds of millions of people, 3% becomes a really big number. What was it? 122 million in the US? What's that? 5 million deaths? That's a lot. 5 million isn't. Let me see some. Let me see some. US states by population. Let's take a look. So more people in the US have died of COVID than people who live in. So we've emptied Wyoming, Vermont, DC, Alaska, North Dakota, South Dakota, Delaware, Rhode Island, Montana, and Maine. So pog, dude. So he's like, what? Just think about this. What if we? It's 5 million. So if every single human being who lives in Maine, Montana, Rhode Island, Delaware, and Wyoming died, Every single, population drops to zero. Like, I don't know, something happens, they just fucking die. They all keel over dead. Maine, Montana, Rhode Island, Delaware, and Wyoming. All of them at one moment. Do you think, would you be like, whatever, dude, let's just keep moving, let's just keep vibing? That's a lot of people, but okay, you know, I guess Candace doesn't care.
What's actually happening under the guise of this virus.
Yeah, they get new cockied. All of those states get new cockied, okay? Can you even imagine?
Is federal overreach, tyranny, totalitarianism, the kind that gives birth to evil dictatorships and human atrocities.
And just so you know, everyone in Australia, once again, everyone in Australia agrees with these COVID restrictions. Once again, 2% of people want the type of deaths that we've seen in a day, in a year. And that's what they call acceptable. So, you know.
We are watching a replay of the early ambitions of Joseph Stalin, Adolf Hitler, Fidel Castro, Hugo Chavez. That is what is hiding beneath the guise of this fictitious, perpetual need to slow the spread.
Guys, is it fascist to stop a virus? Whoa, they're issuing lockdowns. This is literally like Nazi Germany. Nazism is when the government does stuff. And the more stuff it does, the more Nazi it is. And when it does a real lot of stuff, that's the USSR. What is happening, dude?
We all know some more truths. That what's happening in Australia was meant to happen here in America. That this current totalitarian administration is fighting tooth and nail to trample state rights and federalize America. And if it were not for Republican governors standing in the way, we would be similarly stripped right now of our most basic of individual freedoms. Can anybody, by the way, explain to me in simple sentences why the Australian government is any better or any nobler than the Taliban?
What is happening? Wait, I'm memeing. I memed. I memed. I jest. I was memeing. I was creaming. I was laughing. I was clapping. I was having a joke. I was being a little silly boy. I was being I was being a tiny jokester. Okay. I was joshing you. I was pulling your leg. I was trying to make it the funny when I said, she thinks the Australian government's the Taliban. I was trying to be hyperbolic. This meme is very real. You're right. This is a simple meme that you find on the internet. But ladies and gentlemen, this meme is very real. I don't want it to be real. I don't want it to be real at all. Invade Australia. They're worse than the Taliban. Yeah, shit posting is powerful and meme magic is real, I guess. And this is the face that you make. Why don't we invade Australia? What's the difference between Australia and the Taliban? I don't know, bro. I think that's something that we should say for another stream. Maybe you think we should do that? I think we should have a video just for Candace Owens to highlight the differences between the Australian government and the Taliban. You know, it seems like it's a really difficult thing for her to suss out. Yeah, Joker moment.
Both groups believe that they have a right to oppress and a right to imprison people for their own good.
Isn't that just a state? What? Isn't that just a state? We do imprison people for their own good and the public safety as well. I'm not sure necessarily what you mean by like oppress, but yeah, that's just like a jail. Comrade Candace Owens comes out like anti-jail. Okay. Comrade, I see you, comrade, and Candace, based anarchist Candace comes out as anti-imprisonment. Okay, I see you. Okay.
Are Western governments any better anymore? I can honestly say that never did I ever think that I would live to see a world war. But we're here. We are in the midst of
fucking what? Bitch, what the hell are you talking about? What? A world war? What? Does she think that like Trump supporters are going to rise up and kill like the government? Comrade Candace Owens fighting the capitalist system. I see you. World War III, stopping COVID, stopping the stop of COVID. We're in endgame. You're in the endgame now.
Of an ideological and psychological global war. And it is a war that is being waged by governments all over the world, from here all the way to Australia, against the very citizens that they govern. So to that end, I say, welcome to World War III. Welcome to Candace.
I've very few times in my life have I felt so incredibly bamboozled by a video. This is like insane. This is craziness right now. She's like, welcome to Call of Duty. This is going to be the next Call of Duty that comes out. Call of Duty COVID, where it's just like random Trump supporters trying to kill their local official for telling them that they can't shop at Walmart without wearing a mask. Welcome to woke War 3. It's the woke wars. We're fighting the woke right now. We need to stop them. Bro, what's happening, dude? I don't get it. She's like insane. There's no possible way how you can ever in any way seriously tie the Australian government, who's doing what the people of Australia want, with only 2% wanting to live in what we have. 2%. And still, like I said, 2% is a lot. But when it comes to a democracy, 2% is as close to a consensus as you can just like approximately get. 2% is a very strong consensus amongst like a populace, especially if we're talking about millions of people. That is almost unheard of when it comes to bringing a society together around like a specific like set of rules or policies or something along those lines. 2% is massive. 2% of it is everything, right? That's a number that we don't see too much. Like only 2% in the dissent. So yeah, no, they're fine. They don't want America to invade. I don't think there's no reason for us to invade. There's no reason for everyone to invade. You're crazy. Seek help. Okay? Go to a doctor. What was that Destiny quote? Schedule more therapy, up your meds, go outside, get offline. A better world awaits you. Get out of here, man. Log off. Oh, geez. I knew it was going to be bad, but I didn't think it was going to be this bad. Here's this. What is this? Why'd you have this on hand? Why'd you have this on hand so quickly? Up your meds, schedule more therapy, improve your diet, and get off Twitter. A happier world awaits you. Happier world awaits you than this, I promise. Yeah, classic Destiny copy pasta.